My throat? Yeah. A bit better. Yeah.
Go ahead for the mic.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janabala Giridhara Gopi Janabala Giridhara Yashodanandana Prajajana Yashodanandana Prajajana Yamuna Tira Yamuna Tira Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Krishna Krishna Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 So we're continuing with the study of the Bhagavad Gita. Today we're on chapter 10, which is the opulences of the Absolute, text number 37. Vrishninam vasudevosmi, Vrishninam vasudevosmi, Pandavanam Dhananjaya, Pandavanam Dhananjaya, Muninam apyaham vyasa, Muninam apyaham vyasa, Kavinam ushana kavi, Kavinam ushana kavi, Vrishninam vasudevosmi, Vrishninam vasudevosmi, Pandavanam Dhananjaya, Pandavanam Dhananjaya, Muninam apyaham vyasa, Muninam apyaham vyasa, Kavinam ushana kavi, Kavinam ushana kavi, Vrishninam vasudevosmi, Vrishninam vasudevosmi, Pandavanam Dhananjaya, Pandavanam Dhananjaya, Muninam apyaham vyasa, Muninam apyaham vyasa, Kavinam ushana kavi, Kavinam ushana kavi. Vrishninam vasudevosmi, Pandavanam Dhananjaya, Muninam apyaham vyasa, Kavinam ushana kavi.
Vrishninam vasudevosmi,
Vrishninam vasudevosmi,
Pandavanam Dhananjaya,
Pandavanam Dhananjaya,
Muninam apyaham vyasa,
Muninam apyaham vyasa,
Kavinam ushana kavi,
Kavinam ushana kavi.
Vrishninam vasudevosmi,
Vrishninam vasudevosmi,
Pandavanam Dhananjaya,
Pandavanam Dhananjaya,
Muninam apyaham vyasa,
Muninam apyaham vyasa,
Kavinam ushana kavi,
Kavinam ushana kavi.
Vrishninam vasudevosmi,
Vrishninam vasudevosmi,
Pandavanam Dhananjaya,
Pandavanam Dhananjaya,
Muninam apyaham vyasa,
Muninam apyaham vyasa,
Kavinam ushana kavi,
Kavinam ushana kavi.
Vrishninam vasudevosmi,
Vrishninam vasudevosmi,
Pandavanam Dhananjaya,
Pandavanam Dhananjaya,
Muninam apyaham vyasa,
Muninam apyaham vyasa,
Kavinam ushana kavi,
Kavinam ushana kavi.
Vrishninam vasudevosmi,
Vrishninam vasudevosmi,
Pandavanam Dhananjaya,
Pandavanam Dhananjaya,
Muninam apyaham vyasa,
Muninam apyaham vyasa,
Kavinam ushana kavi,
Kavinam ushana kavi. Vrishninam, of the descendants of Vrishni, Vasudeva, Krishna in Dwarka, Asmi, I am, Pandavanam, of the Pandavas. Dhananjaya Arjuna. Muninam of the sages. Api also. Aham I am. Vyasa the compiler of all Vedic literature. Kavinam of all great thinkers. Ushana Kavi the thinker. Translation. Of the descendants of Vrishni, I am Vasudev, and of the Pandavas, I am Arjuna. Of the sages, I am Vyasa, and among great thinkers, I am Ushana. You can repeat. Of the descendants of Vrishni, I am Vasudeva. And of the Pandavas, I am Arjuna. Of the sages, I am Vyasa. And among great thinkers, I am Ushana. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Krishna is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Baladeva is Krishna's immediate expansion. Both Lord Krishna and Baladev appeared as sons of Vasudev, so both of them may be called Vasudev. From another point of view, because Krishna never leaves Vrindavan, all the forms of Krishna that appear elsewhere are his expansions. Vasudeva is Krishna's immediate expansion, so Vasudeva is not different from Krishna. It is to be understood that the Vasudeva referred to in this verse of Bhagavad Gita is Baladeva or Balarama, because he is the original source of all incarnations, and thus he is the sole source of Vasudeva. The immediate expansions of the Lord are called Swamsha, or personal expansions, and there are also expansions called Vibhinamsha, separated expansions. Among the sons of Pandu, Arjuna is famous as Dhananjaya. He is the best of men and therefore represents Krishna. Among the Munis, or learned men conversant in Vedic knowledge, Vyasa is the greatest because he explained Vedic knowledge in many different ways for the understanding of the common mass of people in this age of Kali. And Vyasa is also known as an incarnation of Krishna. Therefore, Vyasa also represents Krishna. Kavis are those who are capable of thinking thoroughly on any subject matter. Among the Kavis, Ushana Shukracharya was the spiritual master of the demons. He was an extremely intelligent and far-seeing politician. Thus, Shukracharya is another representative of the opulence of Krishna. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chaksurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamyam Dadati Svatanantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yatapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsya Shri Rupam Sakrajatam Sahagana Raghutam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sabhadutam Parijana Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Nikamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagadpate Upesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Anchana Gaurangi Vrindavanishwari Vrishabhanusate Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vaevacha Patitanam Pavanibhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namah Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pistaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarini Vanch Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Alright, so we're hearing Lord Krishna describe his different vibhutis or opulences to Arjuna to make it easier for Arjuna and for all of us to remember Lord Krishna. That by seeing these different phenomena and hearing about these different personalities, we can understand more of the opulence of Lord Krishna. So here today we have Lord Krishna is described that of the descendants of Vrishni, I am Vasudeva. And in the purport we're given some different explanations about Vasudeva. Prabhupada says first of all that both Krishna and Baladev appeared as the sons of Vasudeva. So both of them are called Vasudeva. Krishna and Balaram. They're both born in the womb of Devaki, the wife of Vasudeva. Of course, Lord Balaram was transferred during I think it was the 5th or 6th month of pregnancy. During the pregnancy anyway, Lord Balaram was transferred from the womb of Devaki to the womb of Rohini. So, in this way Lord Balaram became known as Rohini Nandan. But initially he was conceived in the womb of Devaki as the son of Vasudeva. So Lord Balaram and Lord Krishna are both like that, they're brothers. Lord Balaram is the older brother, he comes first. In Rama Lila, he came as a younger brother and he had a lot of difficulty trying to serve the older brother. So he said in future incarnations he would prefer to come as the older brother. So we see Lord Balaram coming first. And coming first into the womb of Devaki, he is able to make arrangements for Lord Krishna to come. So this is appropriate that Lord Balaram comes. Although he is equal to Lord Krishna, he comes in the mood of a servant. He wants to give service. And he comes into the womb of Devaki, he can make arrangements for Lord Krishna to appear there. So in this way, both Krishna and Balaram are the sons of Vasudeva. In the word meaning, Vasudeva was described as Lord Krishna in Dwarka. So sometimes we hear Lord Krishna there's Sham Sundar Krishna and Vasudeva Krishna. Sham Sundar Krishna is known to give pleasure to his devotees, particularly the people of Vrindavan, headed by all the gopis. And when it comes to killing the demons, then that's the Vasudeva Krishna feature who does that work. And later on, of course, Lord Krishna leaves Vrindavan. So Prabhupada in the purport, he mentions actually Lord Krishna never leaves Vrindavan. He likes to stay in Vrindavan. So when Lord Krishna goes out of Vrindavan, this is the Vasudeva Krishna who is going out of Vrindavan. And he goes first to Mathura, and then later on he moves to Dwarka. So in this way, Lord Krishna is performing his different pastimes. It's all Krishna, and Lord Balaram is also Krishna, but at the same time he's different from Krishna. He's coming in the mood of servant. There's no difference between Krishna and Balaram, only differences in their color. But all of the opulences of Lord Krishna are also there in Lord Balaram. So that's one name, and then we hear also that in this purport Prabhupada says, it is understood that the Vasudeva referred to in this verse of Bhagavad Gita is Baladeva or Balaram, because he is the original source of all incarnations, and thus he is the sole source of Vasudeva. So again, it's a different explanation of understanding Vasudeva, because among the Vrishnis, I am Vasudeva. So the Vrishnis, Lord Krishna, of course, he took his birth in the family of the Vrishni. So Lord Krishna appears there, and he comes as the son of Vasudeva. But Prabhupada is mentioning here how Lord Balaram is the original source of all incarnations. So Lord Krishna is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, and then his first expansion is as Lord Balaram. And from Lord Balaram, then you have Sankarshan. And from Sankarshan, then you have different Chaturvyuha, Vasudeva, Sankarshan, Aniruddha and Pradyumna. You see, and in this way, Lord Balaram is arranging for the different incarnations of the Lord to take place. Actually, Vasudeva is the super soul, the Paramatma, the Lord in the heart. So that personality is an expansion of Lord Balaram. That we get from the Chaturvyuha, you get the Purusha avatars coming, the three Purusha avatars. First of all, Mahavishnu, or Kara Nadakashayi Vishnu, and then Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, and then Shirodakashayi Vishnu. So Shirodakashayi Vishnu is the origin of the different incarnations which appear in the world, the different avatars which all come. They come from the Purusha avatars. And sometimes people have difficulty understanding how Lord Krishna can be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They think the personality of Godhead is Vishnu. Indeed, for example, Sri Vaishnavas, they will present Vishnu as being the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But we argue that, well, the Vishnu avatars, they are coming from the Chaturvyuha, and Chaturvyuha is coming from Lord Sankarshan, and then Lord Balaram, and Lord Balaram is the expansion from Lord Krishna. You see, we give a different interpretation. Well, some different opinions there between the different Vaishnava Sampradayas. But generally, although we have different opinions about who is actually the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we all agree that there's one Supreme Lord and we are His servant. The Sri Vaishnavas, for example, they will say Vishnu is the Supreme. And we will say, well, above Vishnu there's Lord Krishna, that Lord Krishna is the Supreme. But in any case, we're always the servant. There's one Supreme Lord, and we are all His servants, and we agree on that. So that's very nice. Different from the impersonalists, that if you hear from the Mayavadis or the Jnanavadis, they will say ultimately everything is one and there's only the Brahman, and they will only speak in that way. So we're very glad to hear that the Vaishnava Sampradayas, they all agree that Ekala Ishvara Krishna or Sabhritya, one Supreme Lord and all others are his servants. So Lord Balarama, he is Adiguru. He's coming in the mood of servant, and he's coming and his service is to arrange for all of these different things. So the different incarnations of the Lord, they're coming from the Purusha avatars, and the Purusha avatars, they're coming from Lord Balaram. And this way Lord Balaram is described that he is the source of Vasudeva. That Vasudeva, the super soul, Paramatma. Right? Prabhupada mentions that there are different kinds of expansions. You have Swamsa and we have Swamsa and Vibhinamsha. So Swamsa meaning personal expansions of the Lord. Vishnu Tattva, just like this. Just like the super soul in the heart of all living entities, he is a personal expansion of the Lord. He's not different from the Lord. He's appearing in that function as the super soul. And the living entities, we are separated expansions. We are Vibhinamshas. We are tiny parts of the Supreme Lord. We have the similar qualities, but not in the same quantity. So in this way, there's different expansions of the Lord. The Swamsa expansion particularly mean like Lord Balaram is an expansion from Lord Krishna, and then Lord Sankarshan, and then from Sankarshan comes Vasudeva. In this way, personal expansions. The Paramatma is an expansion of the Lord. And the living entities, the jivas, we are called Vibhinamshas. We are very small, very tiny. So in this way we understand how Lord Krishna is describing himself that among the Vrishnis, he is Vasudeva. And then he says, of the Pandavas, I am Arjuna. Now, of course, we know the 5 Pandavas, and Arjuna, he's number 3, right? He's the 3rd son of Kunti. First she had Maharaj Yudhishthira, and then she had Bhima, and then Arjuna. And Nakula and Sahadev, they were the 2 sons of Madri. So they're all known as the Pandavas, but Arjuna is given prominence because he's very dear to Lord Krishna. When Lord Krishna would meet the Pandavas, he would offer his respects to Maharaj Yudhishthira and to Bhima because they were both older and senior to him. But when he would meet with Arjuna, then Arjuna and Krishna, they would embrace each other because they were equal. They're equal in age. In that respect, they're a very friendly relationship with each other. And we do see how in the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna describes why he selected Arjuna to speak the Bhagavad Gita. He says, Bhakto sime sakacheti rehashyam he had uttama. Because you're my devotee as well as my friend. So Arjuna enjoyed that very nice relationship with Lord Krishna, that he had a friendly relationship with him. And together they would often discuss philosophy. Of course, we're given the Bhagavad Gita, and that particular conversation took place on the battlefield. It's very significant. But Arjuna and Krishna would regularly meet, and they would often discuss many different philosophies and teachings. That was their pastime together. So Arjuna is a very dear devotee of Lord Krishna, and he enjoys that friendly relationship with Lord Krishna. And of course it was Arjuna, who went with Lord Krishna, when they went to see Jarasandha, the Lord Krishna took Arjuna with him, along with Bhima. They went to see Jarasandha because they wanted to perform the Rajasuya Yagna. So Arjuna enjoys very intimate dealings with Lord Krishna. So intimate that Lord Krishna agreed to become the chariot driver for Arjuna. Lord Krishna, of course, did not want to take part in the battle of Kurukshetra, but he said, I can be the chariot driver for someone. I can drive your chariot, but I'm not going to take part in the battle. But somebody can have me as a chariot driver and someone else can have my army. So of course Duryodhana, he was happy, he wanted to get the army of Lord Krishna. He wanted the Krishna's army, he didn't care so much about having Krishna with him. But Arjuna, because he's a devotee, he wants Lord Krishna and he's happy to have Krishna with him. Of course, Arjuna had the difficulty that Lord Krishna was driving the chariot for him. So on the battlefield, Lord Krishna was denied the opportunity of being able to see, or rather Arjuna was denied the opportunity of being able to see Lord Krishna's face, because Arjuna was standing behind Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna is driving the chariot, so Arjuna could only see the back of Krishna. But grandfather Bhishma, he's fighting Krishna and he can see the features, he can see the Lord Krishna's face. He can enjoy the beauty, the transcendental form of Lord Krishna. So Arjuna was envious that Bhishma is so fortunate that he's able to see the face of Lord Krishna, although they're fighting against each other. And Arjuna could only see the back of Krishna. So Arjuna was blessed to have that nice relationship with Lord Krishna, and Arjuna is this mentioned here. And then Lord Krishna says, of the sages, I am Vyasa. So Vyasa, of course, is very, very important in our Krishna consciousness movement. We're very fortunate, we make use of some of the literatures which were given to us by Srila Vyasadeva. Srila Vyasadeva wrote many, well, he did not actually write them himself, but he spoke, and he had Ganesh as his scribe. So as he spoke, Ganesh would write. And so Vyasadeva recorded, he had all the different Vedic literatures recorded for us. And he wrote also the Mahabharata, and he wrote also the 18 Puranas, which are all very important for us. In the Kali Yuga, it is said that the Puranas are more important than the Vedic literature. The Shruti is the Vedic literature, but to actually go understand the Shrutis and to get the message from the Shrutis is very difficult. But from the Puranic literature, it is very clear. So we are encouraged to give more importance to studying the Puranas than to studying the actual Vedas. Of course, Srila Prabhupada sometimes would quote the Vedas, because sometimes we have to preach to people who only accept the Vedas, and they don't accept the Puranas, they don't accept Bhagavad Gita, because they're Jnanavadis. You know, there are some missions even here in Singapore, if you go to them and you present Bhagavad Gita, they say, no, we cannot accept Bhagavad Gita. They say Bhagavad Gita is written by some man. They don't say it's divine. The Vedas are divine, of course. Tenhe Brahma Adi Kavaye Muyanti Yatsuraya. The Vedic literature was imparted into the heart of Brahma from the Lord himself. So the Vedas are apurusha. They're not from any ordinary person. But Mahabharata, Puranas, and Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, they will say that these are just from a man. So they're not, you cannot rely on them as being perfect evidence. But we accept them. And it's pointed out that we should accept all the different Vedic opinions. It said, Shruti Smriti Puranati Pancharatriki Vidimbinam Aikantiki Harer Bhaktir Utpatayaiva Kalpate. That if we perform devotional service which is not in accordance with the Shruti and the Smriti and the Puranas and the Pancharatriki, then it is simply a disturbance to society. And so certainly we do accept both the Shruti and the Smriti, and we give more importance to studying the Smriti, which means Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, these books which are given to us by Srila Vyasadeva. So Srila Vyasadeva, he was of course very prominent in Mahabharata. He wrote the Mahabharata, but he's also playing a major role there. He fathered different children, because Vyasadeva was the son of the great sage Parasara Muni, and the mother was a fisherman's daughter named Satyavati. So it happened that Parasara was attracted to Satyavati, and he arranged to give her the one child who would be a great sage, and that sage grew to be Srila Vyasadeva. So Srila Vyasadeva was born from the womb of Satyavati. Later on, that daughter, that girl Satyavati, became the wife of Maharaj Santanu. Is that right? Yes? Maharaj Santanu. And then they had the son Vichitravirya. So Vichitravirya was married. Anyway, it happened that his brother Bhishma arranged to bring some wife for his brother Vichitravirya. So Bhishma, grandfather Bhishma, went and he brought these three girls actually, brought 3 girls, and one of the girls protested that I'm already engaged to marry another man and I cannot accept your brother. So she was sent away, and the 2 girls who were left, they were married to Vichitravirya, but Vichitravirya died without producing any issue. So when Vichitravirya passed away, it was said that according to Vedas, the brother is allowed to beget a child in the womb of the brother's wife. So Bhishma was the brother, but Bhishma said, I cannot, because I vowed to follow brahmachari life. And I promised my father Santan, I promised my mother's father that I would never marry and like that. So he had made the vow. So then Satyavati said, well, I had another child before my marriage, and that child was Vyasadeva. So Vyasadeva was called, and Vyasadeva was requested to beget children in the womb of the wives of Vichitravirya. So first child was Dhritarashtra, and Dhritarashtra of course is born blind. So they're not very satisfied that, you have to we want a healthy child to be king. So next child was Pandu, and still they were not so much satisfied. You have to have another child, this child again not very good. So neither of the 2 ladies wanted to have a child by Vyasadeva again, and they sent a maidservant to be with Vyasadeva, and the result was Vyasadeva conceived the saintly Vidura, and Vidura is also one of the sons of Vyasadeva. So like this you can see Vyasadeva fathered 3 children there. There was Vidura in the womb of the maidservant, and then there was Dhritarashtra and Pandu. And of course, this way you have the whole intrigue of the Mahabharata, the battle between the Pandavas and the Kauravas. So Vyasadeva, he was playing like this kind of role. He had to do these kind of duties. Of course, he had another son. We know Sukadeva Goswami as the son of Vyasadeva. And Sukadeva Goswami, as the son of Vyasadeva, he had heard Srimad Bhagavatam from his father, and he was able to speak Srimad Bhagavatam at the time of Maharaj Parikshit being cursed. So that was very nice that Sukadeva Goswami could come and speak Srimad Bhagavatam in the presence of Srila Vyasadeva himself, as well as Srila Vyasadeva's guru, Narada Muni, that they all came to hear Sukadeva Goswami speak. You see, so that's the nature of spiritual discourse. We take pleasure in hearing different devotees speak. So Srila Vyasadeva sat and heard Sukadeva Goswami speaking Srimad Bhagavatam as Maharaj Parikshit prepared to depart from the world. So Srila Vyasadeva liked to hear, but he also spent a lot of time writing, and he wrote many books. We hear he wrote also Vedanta Sutra. So Vedanta Sutra is the essence of the Vedic knowledge. Vedanta Sutra is very popular. People always like this book. They like to study this book, Vedanta Sutra. Sometimes you go to the book fair, especially in Calcutta. You go to the book fair, so many people come, they want, do you have Vedanta Sutra? They're interested to read that. Because Sripad Shankaracharya had given a lot of prominence to the message of Vedanta Sutra. And it's the custom among the Mayavadi sannyasis that they will all study Vedanta Sutra. And indeed, when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in Benares, he was criticized by the Mayavadi sannyasis headed by Prakashananda Saraswati, that this Mahaprabhu, he's a sentimentalist. He's only singing and dancing, and he's not studying Vedanta Sutra. And he should be studying Vedanta Sutra with all of us. Of course, when they met together, then Lord Chaitanya revealed that actually he knew Vedanta Sutra, because Vedanta Krit Veda Ved Eva Chaham. Lord Krishna says, by all the Vedas I am to be known. Indeed, I am the author and I am the compiler of the Vedas. So Srila Vyasadeva himself, he has compiled this Vedanta Sutra, and certainly he knows the meaning behind Vedanta Sutra. And that is why we say, you want to understand Vedanta Sutra, you should read Srimad Bhagavatam. The Srimad Bhagavatam is the authorized commentary on Vedanta Sutra. So, of course, the different acharyas, they've also written their own commentaries on Vedanta Sutra. And at one point there was a dispute that the Gaudiya Vaishnava line is not bona fide because there was no commentary on Vedanta Sutra. Anyway, it was arranged that Baladeva Vidyabhusan would go there and he would write a commentary on Vedanta Sutra. And Srila Prabhupada very much appreciated that commentary. So Srila Vyasadeva, you can see he wrote the Vedanta Sutra, and then he wrote the commentary on Vedanta Sutra in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam. And that Srimad Bhagavatam, we know how it's described in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, how Srila Vyasadeva had written so many books, and he was just feeling despondent. He wasn't feeling any real satisfaction from it. And then his guru, Sri Narada Muni, came to him and pointed out the problem. He said, because you have not properly glorified Lord Krishna and the process of devotional service. And therefore, Srila Vyasadeva, in his maturity, he then went about writing Srimad Bhagavatam. And at Srimad Bhagavatam, of course, he begins Nigama Kalpataror Galitam. Srimad Bhagavatam, like that. The Srimad Bhagavatam is the ripened fruit of all the Vedas. And that this Srimad Bhagavatam is the mature offering of Srila Vyasadeva. The other Puranas are not as important. It is Srimad Bhagavatam which is the mature contribution of Srila Vyasadeva. And Lord Chaitanya therefore spent a lot of his time when he was residing, especially in Jagannath Puri. He would every day hear Srimad Bhagavatam. He would go to Gadadhar Pandit, and Gadadhar Pandit would recite Srimad Bhagavatam to him. And we know, of course, ourselves how Srila Prabhupada, our own founder Acharya, how he dedicated himself to Srimad Bhagavatam and writing his purports on Srimad Bhagavatam for all of our benefit. So here it's mentioned, Lord Krishna said of sages, I am Vyasadeva, that Srila Vyasadeva, he is literary incarnation of Lord Krishna. He is responsible for writing, or for producing so many literatures for our benefit. So we are so much indebted to Srila Vyasadeva. And then the final personality mentioned here, Lord Krishna says, among thinkers, I am Ushana. Ushana being a name of Shukracharya. And Shukracharya is the guru of the demons. There's always conflict between the demons and the devotees. And usually when there's conflict, usually the demigods, the devotees will come out victorious. But sometimes, not every time, sometimes the demigods also lose their power. Just like in Srimad Bhagavatam it is described how on one occasion they had disrespected Brihaspati and they had lost their guru. So at that time the demons came and they conquered over the demigods and they took control of the heavenly planets. So Sukracharya, or Ushana, as he's described here, he was the guru of the demons. And he was very, very powerful. In fact, it is described there that on one occasion when the demigods were fighting the demons, Bali Maharaj was leading the demons and he was killed in the battle. But his guru, Sukracharya, was so powerful that he could bring him back to life. So you can just imagine how powerful he was, that he had that power. He could bring back to life someone even after they have been killed. So Sukracharya was the guru of the demons. And because of their guru's blessings, they were able to conquer over the demigods and take control of the heavenly planets. So in this way we can understand how powerful Sukracharya was. Of course, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, we know that when Bali Maharaj appeared in the arena of sacrifice, Lord Vamanadev rather appeared in the arena of Bali Maharaj's sacrifice. Now, Sukracharya knew the benefit of giving charity to Brahmanas, and Sukracharya had told Bali Maharaj to be charitable, to give charity to the Brahmins. Just like Jarasandh also had that. So demons, even though people are demons, they understand the value of giving something to the Brahmanas, that it will be very beneficial to you. You know, you give something, will come back. You know, some people, they have that mood when they give charity, you know. How much will come back, right? We should get back more, a lot more than what we give. So people like that. So they often like to give charity to Brahmanas, and if the Brahmana is very powerful, then it will come back many times. So Shukracharya had instructed Bali Maharaj to give charity to Brahmanas. So Lord Vamanadev came, he took the form of the Brahmana boy, and he's come to beg charity from Bali Maharaj. But Sukracharya is very, very powerful, and he could understand this Brahmana boy, this is the Lord, he's the personality of Godhead, he's Bhagavan, and he's going to cheat you. Right? We were hearing, yes, in the last class, Lord Krishna, among gamblers and among chiefs, the gambler, something like that. So Lord Vamanadev comes and he's going to cheat Bali Maharaj, you see. Bali Maharaj is not so much against it, he doesn't mind, but he thinks, well, if he is the Lord, then it's to my benefit if I give him. And if I don't give him, he can take it anyway. So it's better to give than to have him take it. And so Bali was very intelligent. And if Sukracharya is a little worried, he thinks, if you give him charity, you'll take everything, you'll have nothing left. And so Shukra, he's a bit worried. If you lose everything, who will maintain me, Nobody to look after me anymore, if you lose everything. So I don't want you to give it everything, you'll lose everything, it's not good. So Sukracharya is worried about his own self. He doesn't want Bali Maharaj to give. Anyway, Bali Maharaj decides to give, and Sukracharya is not very happy with him. But anyway, it all happens. This is all the Leela of Lord Vamanadev, taking back the heavenly planets for the demigods. So Sukracharya, he has that power, he has that ability to lead the demons, to conquer the demigods and to take control of the heavenly planets. Just imagine how powerful he must be. So he's being glorified here. Prabhupada says he's a great thinker, right? Prabhupada says, Sukracharya, he was extremely intelligent and far-seeing politician. So politician, well, we know about politicians, right? Prabhupada similarly spoke about Chanakya Pandit. The Chanakya Pandit, he was also politician. That he was not so much devotee, but he was politician. And even Mahatma Gandhi, sometimes it was said about Mahatma Gandhi that among devotees, he was more a politician. Among politicians, he was a devotee. But like that. So similarly here we have Sukracharya. He was far-seeing. So far-seeing politician. So he's described also as a representative of the opulence of Lord Krishna. Just try to imagine how wonderful the opulence of Lord Krishna is. Lord Krishna's opulence is being described for all of us. And of course at the end of this chapter, Lord Krishna himself will say that what need is there, O Arjuna, for all of this detailed knowledge? With a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support the entire creation. So Lord Krishna wants us to understand something, just to have some appreciation of the opulence which is there. And that is the representative of Lord Krishna. Everything belongs to Krishna. So that opulence which we see in the world, it is all Krishna's opulence. And one devotee was with Prabhupada one time on a morning walk, and he said to Prabhupada, he said, "Oh Prabhupada, look at the sunrise, isn't it beautiful?" And Prabhupada looked at him with a bit of disgust and said, "If you're still attracted to the material world, you'll have to take birth again." And so Prabhupada, he was training the devotee, you want to see, you want to appreciate the sunrise, see it in relation to Krishna. Don't just see it as being something, oh, very beautiful, oh, so nice, so opulent. But we have to understand how everything is actually in relation to Lord Krishna. So this is the purpose of Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna speaking these different examples here in this chapter of Bhagavad Gita. He wants us to understand everything in relation to his opulence. Lord Krishna, he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and all opulence is certainly his. Whatever we see, it's just a tiny spark of his splendor. We may think, oh, so much opulence. We think sometimes, some people think maybe Singapore is opulent. Some people go to Australia, they think, oh, Australia is opulent. We cannot imagine what the heavenly planets are like. Heavenly planets are so many thousands of times more opulent than here. And when you go beyond this place into the spiritual sky, then you can understand what is real opulence. Of course, the real opulence is in the relationship with Krishna and enjoying the loving exchanges with Krishna. So in the spiritual world, there is Vaikuntha, where there's simply the mood of Aishwarya, awe and reverence. But in Goloka, in the planet of Lord Krishna, there is Madhurya, there's real sweetness. And the devotees, they want to relish that sweetness in loving exchanges with Lord Krishna. So Lord Krishna is coming, he's speaking the Bhagavad Gita. He wants to attract all of us to go back to him. Right? We've been here in this material world so long, we've wasted so many lifetimes away from him. It's time for us all to go back there to be with him. Alright, so we're going to stop here now. If there's any questions? Yes, Prabhu?
Thank you for this class. Just one small question regarding Ushna. So, if he is such a great thinker, so why are all of his students demons?
Well, like we said, he's a politician, he's not a devotee. You see, but great thinkers, they think how to enjoy, how to exploit, how to enjoy the material world, how to enjoy the resources. And certainly they could do that. They could conquer even the heavenly planets. They could take over from the demigods and control the heavenly kingdom. And so that's takes a lot of thinking to do that, Not small endeavors. That they could move in, kick out the demigods and take over the heavenly planets. Very powerful. And so that's we have to appreciate that. You have to appreciate, just like the demons, like when Lord Ramachandra saw Lanka, or when Hanuman saw Lanka, they saw the opulence of Lanka. So much opulence, so much valuable treasures and gold and ornaments and so many weapons and everything. But no devotion, no feeling of love for the Supreme Lord. So they're intelligent in that sense that they can enjoy the material world. That is the misuse of their intelligence. And we often see that, even today it's there in the world. So many scientists and philosophers, today there's so many scientists, they're all working to make the world more comfortable. Nobody's thinking that, oh, we're all here, we're going to die one day, we're all on the death row and very soon we have to leave the body. Nobody's thinking about the solution to birth and death. They're only thinking how to be happy and more comfortable here in the prison house of the material world. So they misuse their intelligence for that purpose. Right? They're intelligent, but it's misused. It's just used for temporary pleasures. So politicians also, they have that tendency generally, they're thinking more how to make ourselves more comfortable. They promise the voters, vote for me and I will make your life better. Nobody's saying, I will take you out of the world of birth and death and I'll free you from karma. No, they're promising temporary material benefits. Any other questions?
Very educative and heart-throbbing lecture. But I wanted to know that Maharaj Bali from the demonic parampara, and he could understand, even he took Guru as Sukracharya, but he could understand that God, Lord is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he can take even by doing. But Sukracharya cannot understand. So even if you are born in a very low family or demonic family, you can be a great devotee like Holy Maharaj.
Yes, certainly. Although Bali Maharaj is born in the demons, he can be a great devotee. And we see also Bali, of course, he is the grandson of Prahlad. So Prahlad was a great devotee. So Bali is the grandson, he's also a devotee. At least he became devotee, even though he was under the direction of Sukracharya, because Sukracharya was the guru of the demons, and Bali Maharaj was there, and he's in the demon line. So Sukracharya was their guru, so he was taking instructions from Sukracharya. But at the same time, Bali Maharaj could understand when to give up the guru. So when the question actually came, should he follow his guru or not, he rejected the advice of the guru because he saw some problem, he saw something wrong, that Sukracharya had been telling him, you should give charity, you should be charitable to the Brahmanas. So when the Lord comes as a Brahmana, he says, don't give him. So Bali Maharaj was thinking, why this contradiction? If he's the Lord, and if he's come as a Brahmana, yeah, I should give him. Why not? If he wants, he'll take it all anyway. So better I should give. Then at least I get the reputation of giving. But if he takes it, I don't get any name, I don't get any reputation for that. So better I give. We should also think like that, whatever wealth you have, better to use it for the service of the Lord. Because if we don't use it for the service of the Lord, it will be taken. At the time of death, the family members will come and take it all. And doctors and lawyers, they'll also take it, what they can. That always is there. Legal battles and different issues come. Medical health issues, you can spend a lot of money, but the doctors are not going to save you from old age and disease and death. So better we should use whatever opulence, whatever opportunity we have, use what we have for the service of the Lord, to serve the Lord and His devotees, to help them in distributing some real benefit to the world. So Bali Maharaj is from the demons, is from the lower region of the universe, but he's Krishna conscious. And of course, when Lord Vamanadev came and took back the heavenly planets, he sent Bali Maharaj back to the lower region of the universe, which is where the demons usually reside. But Lord Vamanadev was so kind, he said, I'm also coming with you. And said, no one will disturb you, because I will come with you there. And the Lord is residing there with Bali Maharaj in the lower region of the universe. So that is the mercy of the Lord, that He appreciates so much that Bali Maharaj surrendered everything. Right? Bali Maharaj is the example of Atmani Vedanam, complete surrender. He gave up everything. You know, usually when people lose things, oh, it's so heartbreaking. There was one big man in Hong Kong, he was doing business with toys, and he had a big shipment of toys that all went to America. But when it got to the USA, the customs there said, oh, this is the paint used on these toys, it's got poison in it. All these toys have to be destroyed, they all have to be thrown away. So the whole shipment had to be thrown into the sea. So the man lost so much money, he could not bear to live, he committed suicide. So you get people like that, you know, when they lose all their money, they don't want to live anymore, they've lost everything. But here you see Bali Maharaj, he's given everything, and he's not just some tiny man, he's sitting on the throne as the king of heaven in the heavenly planets. But Lord Vamanadev has come and he's tied him up like a criminal, you know, and humiliating in front of Bali Maharaj's family members. He has to be tied up like a criminal, and the Lord is telling him, you've cheated me, you promised me 3 steps of land, where am I supposed to take my 3rd step? And of course Bali Maharaj then said, well, you can take it on my head. So the Lord put his foot on the head of Bali Maharaj and sent Bali Maharaj down to the lower region of the universe, to Patala Loka. But he said, I'm coming with you. Nobody will disturb you there. So that is the opulence of Bali Maharaj. And he is famous. We glorify him as the example of someone who surrendered everything. So Ushana, he is the guru, he rejected him. But, you know, it's the way of the demons, you know, they're like that. You have to deal with people like that. What can we say? Ushana, the Sukracharya, that even his 2 sons are mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam, Sandanamarka, that they're teachers in the Gurukula and they're giving Prahlad a hard time. So, Sukracharya, intelligent, but misuse of intelligence. And we see a lot of that. Intelligent people, they don't use their intelligence for Krishna consciousness. They will waste it in so many mundane pursuits, pursuing material knowledge, endless material knowledge, and neglecting the real knowledge of spiritual life. So we don't want to be guilty of misusing our intelligence, right? Any other question? Okay, so then we have His Holiness Bhakti Purushottam Swami Maharaj here.
Thank you. Thank you, Narasimha Maharaj. His Holiness Narasimha Maharaj. Jai. We'd like to invite His Holiness Bhakti Purushottam Maharaj